So today we're going to discuss about ratio. So what is ratio? A ratio is basically just a mathematical comparison between two numbers. Pero sa business world, ginagamit natin to para makita kung kamusta na yung financial health ng company natin. Think of it like a quick check-up for your business para alam mo kung fit and strong pa siya or kung may kailangan ka ng ayusin bago pa lumala.
So, let's move on to financial ratio. Ano nga ba ang financial ratio? Ito yung type ng ratio na ginagamit natin para ma-measure yung performance ng negosyo natin. For example, we take two financial data points like sales versus expenses or assets versus liabilities. Then compare them to see kung healthy pa ba yung negosyo natin. As entrepreneurs, this is our secret weapon. We use it to plan our next moves, track progress, and spot strengths and problems before they got bigger.
Profitability ratio are financial metrics that are used by analysts and inventors to measure and evaluate the ability of company to generate income relative to revenue, balance sheet assets, operating costs, and shareholders' equity during a specific period of time. Profitability analysis shows how much a business makes from its sales and assets. For Breadwinner Bake Shop, a 30,000 profit from a 600,000 sales means it is a 5% return. So therefore, 0.5 peso earned for every peso sold. This shows how efficiently sales and assets generate income.
Let's tackle about the gross profit margin or GPM. The gross profit margin is a ratio represents the average of gross profit generated by each peso of sales. To compute the GPM, we will use the formula gross profit margin or GPM is equals to gross profit divided by net sales times 10.
Let's read this picture. The formula reflects the relationship between the firm's pricing policies and its buying policies. Applying this, the gross profit margin of Breadwinner Bake Shop in 2019 actual and 2010 projected financial statement. The computation following the formula. You can see that the firm is planning to increase gross profit margin from 37.5% in 2009 to 40% in 2020. This is due to 2 pesos increase in price at a time when the cost of goods sold is expected to increase by only 1 pesos per unit.
We have here example computation for GPM. So we have Breadwinner 2019 and Breadwinner 2020. In Breadwinner 2019, meron tayong 225,000 gross profit, while sa net sales, meron naman tayong 600,000. In Breadwinner 2020, meron tayong 500,000, while sa net sales, meron naman tayong 1,250,000. So, para ma-compute po natin yan, gagamitin po natin yung sinabi kong formula kanina, which is GPM is equals to gross profit divided by net sales times 100. But, kung napansin niyo po, iba yung nabigay kong formula kanina, which is GPM is equals to gross profit divided by net sales times 10. So, nagbago lang po yung ito times natin. Kanina po kasi ang sabi ko times 10. Then, ngayon po, times 100 yung nandito. Bali, i-disregard po natin yung times 10 kanina sa sinabi ko. But, same lang po yung times 10 tsaka times 100 na nasa module. Pares lang po silang nasa module. But, this time, ang gagamitin po natin is times 100. I-double check na lang din po sa module namin para mas maintindihan ninyo. So, let's proceed po sa aming example. So, 2019 is GPM is equals to 225,000, which is the gross profit. Gross profit then divided by 600,000, which is the net sales, is equals to 0.375. So, 0.375 times 100 is equals to 37.5. So, 37.5 yung nakuha nating GPM doon sa Breadwinner 2019. So, sulat natin 37.5. And also, wag po natin kakalimutan na laging lagyan ng percent yung dulo po or yung resulta po ng ating GPM for, basta yun po, wag po natin kakalimutan yung percent. Lagi po natin lalagyan ng percent sa ating GPM. Yung kakalabasan po ng GPM ninyo. So, for example, number 2 po, for Breadwinner 2020, meron po tayong 500,000. So, 500,000 divided by 1,250,000 is equals to 0.4. So 0.4 po times 100 is equals to 40.0. So isa pa rin 40.0. Don't forget the percentage po. So ganun lang po natin siya kukuhain.
An income statement is a financial report that shows a business's revenues, expenses, and net profit or loss over a specific period of time. So now, let's discuss the key part of an income statement. The first one is sales or revenue. The sales or revenue are the total income from selling goods. Second, cost of goods sold, or COGS. From its name, this is the direct cost of producing goods sold. Third is gross profit. These are the revenue minus COGS. Fourth is operating expenses. Operating expenses cost to run the business excluding COGS. Fifth is the net profit before tax. These are the profit after all expenses but before taxes. Lastly, the net profit after tax. These are now the final profit after deducting taxes. Analysis of profitability composed of two types. The first one is profitability compared with sales. This type shows how much profit each peso of sales generates. The second one is profitability compared with assets. It measures how assets are effectively used to produce profit.
Now that we know income statement, let's now go into the projected income statement. So what is projected income statement? Projected income statement, or we can also call it as pro forma or forecast, estimates a company's future financial performance, which can help in planning, decision-making, funding, and performance tracking. So, ang projected income statement ay ang ating guide para makita kung ano nga ba ang mangyayari sa ating financial status sa future. Na kung meron mang mga maaari tayong improve, ay ma-improve na natin. So, let's have figure number 2 as an example. So, let's break it down apart and let's focus on the main components of Breadwinner Bake Shop projected income statement for the year of 2020. So, on the top, we can see the sales, or we can also call it as projected revenue. This is the estimated sales based on forecast and market trends. The second part is the cost of goods sold, or we can also call it a COGS. This is the direct this now is the direct production costs. The third one is the gross profit. We can see it in the gross profit margin. Gross profit is the revenue minus COGS. It represents the profit generated from sales before considering operating expenses. Operating expenses under the gross profit margin is the cost of running the business, excluding the COGS. So these are the equipment, the labor that the company gives. Income tax expense, or on the second to last, income tax is the estimated tax that the government will give to us based on our income. And the final one is the net income. Net income, or in the figure 2, is net profit after tax. Is the final projected profit after all expenses. So this is the total income of our company after all of the expenses. So that's all.
Two-column balance sheet is a format for presenting a company's financial position where assets are listed on the left and liabilities and equity are listed on the right. Sa left column, nakalista yung mga assets or what the business owns, such as cash, inventory, or property, or anything na pagmamayari ng isang company. Sa left side naman, dito naman nakalista yung liabilities at yung owner's equity. Ang liabilities, ito yung pagkakautang ng isang company. At yung owner's equity naman, ito naman yung share ng may-ari ng business once na mabawas na yung lahat ng pagkakautang ng business sa total assets.
Here's an example of two-column balance sheet. Sa left side, yung assets. Sa right side, yung liabilities and equity. Yung assets, meron tayong current assets which are yung 30,000, 30,000, 9,000, and 5,000. Kapag pinag-add is 74,000. At saka long-term assets na 60,000. At kapag pinag-add natin tong dalawa, ang magiging total niya is 134,000. Sa liabilities and equity naman, yung current liabilities natin, pinag-add ko lang din, which is 22,000 and 4,000, which is equal sa 26,000. Stockholders' equity or yung owner's equity, common stock, retained earnings, pinag-add ko lang 70,000 at 38,000, which is 108,000. Pwede rin natin makuha yung 108,000 na to gamit itong equity formula, which is yung total assets minus liabilities is equal to owner's equity. So, paano yun? Yung total assets natin is 134,000. So, 134,000. I-minus natin itong current liabilities natin, which is 26,000. At magiging equal siya sa owner's equity, which is ito nga, yung 108,000. Ayan. So, since kailangan nga yung two-column balance sheet natin ay balance, kailangan maipakita natin na 134,000 sila both. How? Itong equity natin or yung owner's equity at saka itong liabilities, ipag-add natin. Pag-add at makukuha natin itong 134,000. Ito yan. Ito yung fundamental accounting equation. Yung assets, dapat ay equal siya sa sum ng liabilities at equity. Ang assets natin ay 134,000 at dapat equal siya sa sum ng liabilities at ng equity. So, liabilities, 26,000 plus yung equity which is yung 108,000. At ang magiging sagot dyan ay 134,000. So, meaning, ang ating two-column balance sheet ay nagpapakita ng tamang information about our company.
Now, what are projected balance sheet? A projected balance sheet is also known as pro forma or forecast balance sheet. It's a financial statement estimating a company's future financial position used for planning, funding, and decision-making. Business owners or accountants create these projections to see how the company might grow or change. For example, maaari nilang makita kung kailangan nilang mag-borrow ng money, mag-invest sa karagdagang kagamitan, o inaasahan ang mas mataas na kita. There are three main components of projected balance sheet. These are the assets, liabilities, and equity. For assets, this is what the company owns, like cash, receivables, inventory, PPE. Projected based on sales forecast, investments, and depreciation. For liabilities, this is what the company owes, like loans, money, owed to suppliers, and other debts. Lastly, for equity, this is the owner's stake calculated as assets minus liabilities. Example for equity, Anna invested 150,000 pesos in her bakery after a month with 180,000 pesos in assets and 30,000 pesos in liabilities. Her owner's equity is 150,000 pesos, her share in the business. Now, let us proceed to the figure, which is the figure 4. As you can see, it presents the balance sheet for Breadwinner Bake Shop as of May 30, 2020. It follows the fundamental accounting equation, assets is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. There are three main parts of projected balance sheet. Let's start to the assets. The overall total is 312,500 pesos. Hinahati siya sa dalawang bagay. Ito ang current assets at fixed assets. For current assets, the total is 230,000 pesos. Cash, not specified but included in total. Accounts receivable, 104,000 pesos. This is the money owed to the bake shop by customers. Inventory, 125,000 pesos. This is the value of raw materials and finished goods. Prepared expenses, 1,000 pesos. This is the expenses paid in advance. Now for fixed assets, the total is 82,500 pesos. For land, 13,000 pesos. This is the cost of land owned. Buildings, 25,000 pesos. This is the value of buildings. Equipment, 44,500 pesos. This is the value of equipment.
And less accumulated depreciation, 28,000 pesos. This is the reduction in value of assets over time. For other assets, not specified but included in total. The second one is liabilities. The overall total is 187,500 pesos. Hinahati rin siya sa dalawa, the current liabilities and long-term liabilities. For current liabilities, the total is 150,000 pesos. Accounts payable, 128,500 pesos. This is the money owed to suppliers. Accrued expenses, 500 pesos. This is the expenses incurred but not yet paid. Bank overdraft, 21,000 pesos, amount overdrawn from the bank. And for the long-term liabilities, the total is 37,500 pesos. Mortgage on land and building, 27,500 pesos. This is the outstanding mortgage. Bank loan, 10,000 pesos. Long-term loan from the bank. And lastly, the owner's equity. The overall total is 125,000 pesos. But how do we get the owner's equity? To get the owner's equity, we need to subtract the total assets to the total liabilities. So, total assets minus total liabilities is equals to owner's equity. So, 312,500 pesos. This is our assets, and minus 187,500 pesos. This is our total liabilities. Is equals to 125,000 pesos. That is our answer for owner's equity. The owner's equity represents the owner's stake in the company after all liabilities are paid. For our summary of the computation, Breadwinner Bake Shop has total assets of 312,500 pesos, financed by 187,500 pesos in liabilities and 125,000 in owner's equity. The balance sheet shows a healthy mix of current and fixed assets, with a significant portion financed by current liabilities.
So, it is also the overall measure of profitability. Dito na nasusukat kung tumubo ba o hindi ang business sa kabuuan. Kasi dito na na-deduct lahat ng kailangan na ma-deduct sa expenses. So, ang formula dito ay NPM is equals to net profit before tax divided by sales times 100. So let's take the Breadwinner Bake Shop 2019 and 2020 as an example. And dumako na tayo sa net profit margin, or also known as NPM. It is where the ratio represents the average net profit earned by each peso of sales. It reflects profitability after the operating costs of doing business have been deducted from gross profit.
So, let's now talk about the second method of financial ratio, which is liquidity ratio. So, what is liquidity ratio? Liquidity ratio is a metric that measures the ability of a company to meet its short-term obligation by its liquid asset. So, what is liquid asset? Ano nga ba? Ang liquid asset ay, kasi meron tayong dalawang asset. Una ay illiquid at liquid. So, ang illiquid kasi, ito ang mga bagay na kailangan mo pang ipalit para maging pera. Isang magandang halimbawa dyan ay art. Pangalawa naman, yung liquid asset. Ito yung pera na nasa atin na pwede nating mahugot sa ating bulsa. So, ito yung liquid assets. So, kung sumahin natin lahat, ang liquidity ratio ay ang kakayahan ng isang kumpanya para bayaran ang kanyang mga utang o bayarin na gamit ang kanyang pera. Meron tayong dalawang term para i-express ang liquidity ratio na tatalakayin naman ng susunod sa akin.
Liquid ratio also measures our business ability to pay liabilities or its financial obligation, but only with its most liquid assets. Liquid assets are assets that can be quickly turned into cash to pay liabilities. For example, if your bills are due tomorrow, these are the things you could use immediately to pay them. Current asset minus inventory divided by current liabilities. Now let's try to compute using this example. Breadwinner Bake Shop from 2019. Una natin gagawin is substitute. After natin i-substitute, i-compute na natin. 120,000 minus 62,500 divided by 60,000. After natin ma-compute, ang kakalabas na sagot dyan is 0.95. Let's try another example. From Breadwinner Bake Shop noong 2029. Ang current asset are 230,000. Ang inventory are 125,000 at ang current liabilities are 150,000. After nating i-substitute, ika-compute natin at ang ikakalabas are 0.70 or 0.7.
So, ano nga ba ang current ratio? Ang current ratio ay nagpapakita ng relationship ng isang company's current asset at current liabilities. Sa madaling salita, sinasabi nito kung kaya bang bayaran ng isang business ang mga short-term utang gamit ang mga available assets. Paano ito ini-interpret? Ang ideal current ratio ay usually between 1.2 to 2.0. Kapag nasa ganitong range, ibig sabihin ay may sapat na assets ang business para bayaran ang mga short-term debts nito. Pero kapag below 1 ang current ratio, medyo delikado na yon. Ibig sabihin baka hindi sapat ang liquid assets ng business para bayaran agad-agad ang mga obligasyon nito, which can be risky.
Tara, mag-compute tayo. So, ang ating formula ay current ratio is equals to current assets divided by current liabilities. So, ang unahin natin, susulat natin ang current ratio which is ng 2019. 2019. So, ang ating magiging current assets is 120,000 divided by current liabilities, which is 60,000. So, pag pinag-divide natin yung dalawa, ang ating magiging current ratio ay 2.0. So, ayan na magiging current ratio ng Breadwinner Bake Shop noong 2019. So, i-compute naman natin ang current ratio noong 2020. Current ratio. Lalagay natin 2020. Ang ating current assets is 230,000 divided by 150,000. Yun ang ating current liabilities. So, kapag dinivide natin yan, ang magiging sagot talaga niyan is 1.53, pero magiging na lang natin yan, like 1.533333 ang sagot niyan. Pero, na lang natin siya. Ang tawag dun? Basta yun. So, magiging 1.5 na lang siya. So, ayan ang current ratio ng Breadwinner Bake Shop noong 2020.